I need to take a few minutes to do something on the computer. I need to get to my home page, and then if you guys have questions and you want to associate that question with a cash offering, by all means, you're welcome to do so. Other than that, I suggest you watch, learn, and listen, because I'm gonna talk about the flat Earth a little bit in a few minutes. But first, we're going to talk about the trolls, because I am getting inundated with troll stuff. So the first thing I have to do is bring up a page where I can go to my home page and open up.
There are no hosting costs, no storage costs, and no monthly fee.
No, open up. I'm not seeing, now I'm not even seeing my home page. That's amazing. Ah, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to open up my home page so that I'll be able to see the comments. But if you have questions, you feel like adding your 2 cents, it should be accompanied with a super chat. Otherwise, I might just not be able to see the comment. I think that's reasonable, considering all the time that we, the community, give you for our uploads and live streams. Again, I'm opening up my channel so that I can see the comments for you. I'm going to read the comments, not for me, because I don't care. I never cared. I'm never going to care. So let's go here to the live stream. Let's do that. So let's go here. And then I have to open up one more page to look at my notes. I have notes, in case you guys didn't notice. I take notes, and I take a lot of notes. I actually have, for this live stream, I've been taking YouTube comments. I've been taking comments from videos as far back as a week to 10 days ago, including New Year's. Not just on the troll situation, but also with the flat Earth. Like this morning, Canoe in the Philippines, who I sent out a notice about. Look, you guys think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding you. The Earth is flat. Let's just, before we talk about the trolls, let's just get one fact straight. The Earth is flat. No one has ever proven that the Earth is round. You have some fool that believes the Earth is round because he says it's round and he has an educational background. And those fools, by the way, that believe the Earth is round are either government shills or there's something wrong with them in their head. Because truly intelligent people that go through the flat Earth videos, truly intelligent people that go through the flat Earth videos that I'm going to post the links to in a few minutes. Number one is the best flat Earth video by Eric Dubay. Eric Dubay, D-U-B-A-Y, and 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. All you have to do is look at those 2 videos from start to finish, and then follow the procedures in those 2 videos. Follow along with the words, and then Google what's put in the videos as proofs and or information that has been publicized and known for as far back as 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, including the Bible, but not exclusively the Bible, because the Bible is just one of hundreds of religious books that depict the Earth as a flat, non-rotating, non-moving object, and that can be proven easily enough when you go to the North Pole and you look up and you see Polaris, the star Polaris. Since the beginning of recorded history, since the beginning of time, written history, since philosophers looked up in the sky, since scientists looked up in the sky. That star and the stars, or luminescent bodies as they have become known, have never changed the configuration, ever. They've never changed. When you were a child, Sagittarius, the group of the cluster of stars, has been in the same position it is now. Good morning, Raymond Maximus. Raymond Maximus says, let's see your leprosis leg saw. Put $100 in the super chat, and I'll put that right up there on the board for you. $100. 100. Nobody else can put the money up for him. He has to put it up. And I'll open up. I'll take the bandage off my leg, and no, 100, and I'll put it right down on my leg right now, in less than a minute, or maybe a minute and a half. $100 into super chat. 100. What, you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. $100. I'm not going to make any money on this video. So, because if I put that up there, John Blaze, you know, he screws up the works because he'll put $100 in just to give me $100. Don't do that, John. So, but you, Raymond, put $100 in there. I'll take the camera outside, and I'll put the camera on my leg, and you'll see what's the results of the work that was done on my leg last week. It looks good. It looks really good. I'm thinking, Ray Maximus, if you saw it, you'd want to kiss it. That's how good it looks compared to what it looked like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was from the ankle to the knee. Now, it's just like this much in the front and on the side and the back. So, based on what it looked like to what it looks like now, you'd want to give it a hug, which is known as a gakus in the Philippines, and you'd want to kiss it. You, Raymond Maximus, you probably are the type of guy that would want to take a lick or two before he kissed it. Just because it's probably, it almost looks like, I don't know, lemon meringue pie. Lemon meringue pie. That would be something you'd want to do. So, $100 by Ray Maximus. Put the money up there, and I'll show you my leg. And then let's get back to the. I'm going to get back to the. I know he's not going to do that, but he's also not going to upset my live stream. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, I'm not going to get mad at you. But I won't tolerate much more from Raymond Maximus. He's about at my limit of connecting with the trolls. So let me get over here. One more thing. Just one more thing. Raymond Maximus. I don't care how long this video takes, because it's going to take a while. This is going to be a good live stream. I'm not going to curse. Frankie B thinks I am financially supportive, the one that begs. No. Are you talking about my brother, the plumber, from Cebu, from North Cebu? No. I think he's trolling you. I think he's trying to get a reaction. He knows. You know what? I'm gonna actually, eventually, that him and I, being after I saw that birthday video, that was a really nice party my brother from another mother threw. Eventually, my birthday's coming up too, and maybe they could incorporate a family. One of the family having a birthday party, invite all those children back again, and if Daisy's not available to make it, trying to get some supply, she's trying to get your cash supply. If Daisy's not available, maybe, there was a girl there, I forgot her name, but I was thinking, That girl is the same age as Daisy. So in the Philippines, she's old enough to date, but Gilda made a very pretty daughter. I'll tell you, Gilda, you did a good job on that. And I don't know, man. She's a really pretty girl. If she's not hard to look at, and you never know. You never know the future. Let's just say that I went there, and I looked at her, and she looked at me, and there was just that special chemical reaction, and we just fell in love with each other. Just that special. It happens once or twice in your whole lifetime. She said, "My God, he knows how to do electrical, and he's got tools." Maybe she has a deep down subliminal want for a man that has a lot of tools, and maybe she seems like a really nice girl. All kidding aside, maybe there's that love connection. You never know. And if that happened, then I would have to call my brother from another mother, Frankie B. I'd have to call him Dad, and he'd have to call me son. You never know. Anything is possible. So, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but one thing for sure, the fact that my brother from another mother and I are coming to an agreement not to attack one another and to let bygones be bygones, that's a big step in this universe that we're in. And the reason is not because he's definitely no, that's bad. No, you can't entice me with money or any kind of emotional. You can't entice me with emotions. Either I have to feel it or I don't do it. John, you know me better than that. You know me better. You know me as well as anybody that's known. You've known me for 5 years. No, I can't be enticed. In fact, when I even believe that somebody is being manipulative and wants me to do things because they have money or because they have a prestigious position in this world, so-called, I ignore them completely. You cannot make me do stuff for money. Somebody tried to do that not so long ago, held up their big personification on YouTube, and then proceeded to show everybody how powerful he was. And that didn't work. That actually backfired, because everybody that I know looks down on you now. And I won't mention any names because we agreed not to mention names. Just like I got to get a pot. Just like I'm going to get the pot. I see, woo, $20. Wow. I got a $20. I got a $20 donation. Thank you. Let me get back to my so John Blaze, from John Blaze. So you cannot. It's just like when Jim Morrison said, "Wait, let me do this right. Hold on a minute. Let me get a nice yellow shirt on. Let me get a yellow shirt. Let me get a pot." You cannot. Jim Morrison, you know what Jim Morrison said. You guys know what he said. I don't have to tell you. I shouldn't have to tell you. Jim Morrison was the man. Died at age 27, just like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and also that guy from Star Trek. They believe that they were sacrificed. I don't know that that's true or not, but my brother from another mother. Now, I want to tell you something about my brother from another mother and I, before I forget. My brother from another mother and I talked about the Emerson, Lake and Palmer concert. Going back, could have been going back into the 1970s. I think it was. Could have been 1974. My brother from another mother talked about an Emerson, Lake and Palmer concert at Madison Square Garden, right? At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it was snowing. We had a blizzard in New York City. I mean, a real blizzard. And I had tickets for ELP. Myself, Matthew, Eddie, and Tommy. Now, the three of us were at my house. And we decided, now, Matthew lived about a mile away, but it was snowing so bad you couldn't see across the street. So we decided to go to the concert early. And we went there, and we got into Madison Square Garden. We were like the first people there. And we had front row seats pretty much for that, very close to the front of the stage. There was nobody in the audience. Well, my brother from another mother, Frankie B., he talked about being at that concert. It could be that we sat next to each other 50 years ago, about 50 years ago. That might be why we reunited here in the Philippines. So John Blaze knows I can't be bought. And to the people that have promised me things, go ahead, Fazio. Keep on the offensive. Don't give up now, Fazio. Just keep going. Just keep going with the lawsuits. Just keep going with the attacks. Just keep going with the slander, the libel, the cyber libel. And let him keep going with the slander, the libel, and the cyber libel. Just keep going. To you people, the trolls, you can kiss my grass. GRASS. Because not one of you are interested in paying for the lawyer's bills. But if you trolls want the cyber libel, the libel, and the angst and the time to continue, I'm good. I'm good with that. Send me $5,000 in my PayPal account. Send my brother from another mother $5,000 in his PayPal account. We'll both go out and get a lawyer and file a cyber libel case for $1,000 each. And then we'll wait for that to go to court. And when that's winner or loser, then we'll have money to pay the fine. One of us is going to win, one of us is going to lose. Then we'll have money to pay the fine, and you guys will have gotten what you want. And the other $4,000 that we don't spend on a lawyer will be for our time and our loss of life in time. So that you people, you trolls, you worthless pieces of human, what's the name of it? Facade, the facade tissue, human facade tissue with arms and legs. You give us $5,000 each. We'll go. I get with him, and he will get with me. We'll go have lunch. We'll sing Kumbaya. We'll make a video, and then we'll sue each other. We'll keep the $4,000 for our time and our angst, and or maybe who knows? If you send us 6, we'll both put another case against the e-beggar from Mobile. It's a win-win situation. John says maybe send the daughter to Foz for compensation for you are a ta-e-stera. John Blaze, this is what I know for a fact. John Blaze, he bought that lot that he posted yesterday. We've talked about this for many weeks. He told me what he was waiting for. There were people on the property. He had to get them out the door. It's a nice-sized piece of property, and once he puts that 8-foot wall, you won't be able to see the neighbors because you won't. So those of you who think that John Blaze didn't buy that piece of property, he did. He bought it. We talked about it. I explained to him that whoever owns the property, you got to get clear title. We call that clear title in America. You got to get all the major players that own the property together. And then they have to get any sons, nephews, nieces, daughters, husbands, or wives that may or may not be on the deed. And if they are, they need to sign an agreement to relinquish their piece of the parcel. So John, I spoke with John about this. He had already heard that from another third party. Somebody else told him the same thing. So all I did was confirm what he had already found out. Then they have to get those people together to sign. If there's money involved, then they have to give the niece, the nephew, maybe they have to give them, who knows, 100,000, 2,000, 100,000 pesos to release their part of the deed. So but that's important. And in the Philippines, that could take weeks or months. So John's title that came through relatively quick, because I know that when I leased this property, there were only about nine people on the ownership of the property that I rented from. 2 of them had passed away, so I brought 7 people to the lawyer's office to sign my deed. John Bliss, he is a property owner in the Philippines, baby. So thank you, John. Thank you very much. Now, let's go back to the comments. Let's see. We got a lot of ground to go. I got a lot of notes, man. I took a lot of notes. So Philippines, yeah, you see, Raymond Maximus, you had your chance. Could have been famous, buddy. What did you get from Shopee? From Shopee would be behind me. Let's see. This one. This one. Let me get the scissors. I think this is pretty sure it's a voltage meter. But then this one is a new stove. I gotta tell you, Shopee has some good, it's Lazada, not Shopee. This one is a new stove. I paid $4 for this. It was on sale. It was $12 or $14. Let's see, so this one is, I ought to make sure it is what it was supposed to be, because Lazada has a really bad habit of sending you the product that's not what you ordered. They've done that 3 times in the last year. Single year. Somebody is working the shipping department over good, because they took $125 battery and they put a $3 typewriter ribbon in the battery box. Yeah, this is a digital meter. It was $6. It was on sale from $14. I have 2 now, because I ordered one and then it didn't come, and I thought that the order just got canceled, so I ordered another one. So I have 2 new meters. So that's this meter here. I don't even know what I did with the other one. The desk is just a little bit cluttered. It kind of goes along with the rest of the room, the decor in the rest of the room. So I got a digital meter that checks batteries, ohms, wattage, resistance is ohms, current from DC voltage from 12 to 220. And this is an electric burner. My electric, I think it better be an electric burner, because this, I paid $4 for this. They've done this, like I said, they did it 3 times. The $125 battery, what a pain in the neck. You got to take a picture of what the product was supposed to be. 3 pictures. Then you have to take 3 pictures of what came in the box. Then you have to fill out an application. No police report. You have to fill out an application, and with some information on it. Then you have to put it in a bag, and they will print up, they will give you a label on in your email. When you take a picture of that label and you bring it to the store in Bahal, which is about 300 feet from the BQ Mall, and there's an LBC Shipping Corporation. I can't take that. The LBC Shipping Corporation. I know you're watching. If I take the call, I'm gonna lose the live stream. I think I could do this another way. Hold on. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go on Messenger right now. I'm going there. Okay, I'm gonna go to Messenger right now. Oh, let's see. I'm not getting her. Here we are, right here. Let's see. Okay. I can't take the call now, or I lose my stream. I will call you ASAP after the show in 2 hours and explain. Thank you. Okay, so it's not important. Okay, so where is the show? Here's the show right now. Okay, so no, not maybe send the daughter as an incentive. That, you know, Daisy would probably be a little bit upset about that. So I bought the meter, and then I wanted another Ishai hot stove. I paid exactly $47 for a stove 6 years ago. Okay, thank you. I paid $47 for a stove. I found another one, $100. The stove doubled. And it's an Ishai, it's a stainless steel bottom, and it's got 5 burners in it. And this, but I could only buy a single for $50. I don't, why? So then I was looking on Lazada, and I got this stove right here for $4. Now, I don't know how long it's going to last, and I don't even need it. All I know is that the other one is 5 years old, and they don't last forever. So this one, for $4, if the other one breaks, this is an 800-watt stove for $4. It's a real, very light duty, but $4, can't go wrong with that. Can't beat that with a stick, as they say. So let's go back. I'm going to get to my notes in a minute. We're going to talk about Russ Bundo. Russ Bundo, because Russ Bundo, what you did to myself, to my brother from another mother, and what some people call stalking outside my house. I don't now. I myself, actually, what you did is wrong. It's pretty creepy, actually. Everybody said that, but me personally, it doesn't affect me one way or the other. Everybody knows where I live, and everybody's seen my shack, quote unquote, the shack. But because you did that, I don't know, people felt like sharing, and they shared with me, Russ Bundo, if that is your original name. Whether it is or not, the person who posted that on his page, I could read it to you. I think I put it in the post. It's in the post. Somebody knows something more about you than I would care to know, but they sent me information so that I would put it on my page because the great Ala de Winter actually sent it. So, and he doesn't have a big following on his page. And the information just came in last night at about 8 o'clock. But somebody somewhere has video of you doing something in your living room. I don't know if it's true or not. And then that went on to you like Discord. You've talked about Discord before. It's on some sort of Discord server, and supposedly they're going to send it to the PDEA. PDEA. Supposedly, I don't know if they're going to do that or not, but they are going to find you. That's something that they're interested in doing. Why, I don't know, because they really can't do much to you, but they want to find you. They're looking for you, just like you looked for other people on YouTube. So whatever it is that you think that you did to me, I don't care one way or the other. You're not hurting my feelings. This is where I live. This is how I live. It's okay. And other people have taken videos. Even my brother from another mother posted where I lived and had somebody take a video. In fact, he had people come here. So what you did, was creepy, as everybody said, but I don't think you could be prosecuted for it, and I wouldn't spend the time trying to do that. But you do have people that seriously, if what they sent me in the letter is true, they're going to look for where you are and send videos of you playing with some kind of weeds. I don't remember what kind of weeds they were, but you were playing with weeds in a bag, and they're going to send that to the PDEA, whatever that is. So, Russ Bundo, you are making a name for yourself. And I'm going to just, while we're here on the Russ Bundo topic, there is no way, I believe, now look, I don't care one way or another. You know that my brother from another mother and I, we've been fighting for a long time. And you people want this to go on forever. It's not going to go on forever. One way or another, it's not going to go on forever. So might as well stop soon. But what you don't understand is that no one believes you that he was staring at your girlfriend. Why would you just said that to stir the pot? Okay, that's what we do. That's what some of us do. That's what everybody does sometimes. You just did that to stir the pot. And then when you said that you have to unplug the refrigerator to make the lights go, air conditioner go, I don't believe that. He just had 20 men working in his house for 6 weeks. You don't think they straightened that problem out before they left? You don't think it took 2 months to straighten? Nobody believed. I don't believe it. I even said it in another video. I don't believe it. You just want to stir the pot. The same way whoever this guy is with the picture that they put on Roberto's show yesterday, who they believe you're Russ Bundo. I don't know if you're Russ Bundo or not, but it was your picture. The same way you went on the Mantis files, the Mantis channel, the same way you went on the Mantis channel and said Fazio never owned a barge. Do you want to make a wager on that? Would you like to wager Would you think you have enough money to wager me to do any kind of physical, fiscal damage? You think you could do that to me? You're going to lose. So there'll be no fiscal damage on my end. None whatsoever. Fazio something, there were two other things that you said. Lies. You said I was lying. Do you want to wager money on this, Russ Bundo? But let's just talk. The barge. The barge is a big one. You want to wager that I own the barge? That's the big one. That one we could put out. We'll put out the full 5,000 cash. That I own the barge. You don't have what it takes to put $5,000 on a table to wager whether or not I own the barge. I have 100 videos of me operating the barge, and I bought the barge from a man named Mike in Traverse City, Michigan, and I brought the barge back from Traverse City, Michigan. You think that somebody just lent me their barge for 12 years? You are a sniper. A sniper. You're a little sniper, and there's a big sniper on here as well. You're a little sniper that wants to stir the pot. So let's do the barge first. Was it that I didn't own a Cobra, or I never owned a house in the Florida Keys? I think that could have been what it was. Want to wager on that? And I'll show you all the documentation. Do you feel lucky? Because I'll wager you money. See, that's the problem. Or I don't have permits for a hotel. Could have been one of that. I forget. Because I got so many people saying you don't do this, you don't do that. But you got a big mouth, and you're supposed to have money. Oh, by the way, they found out that you're selling a house. Is that true? So here, this money will help you pay the closing fees on your house. Are they going to find out more if you are the person that they think you are? But do you want to wager some big money? It's up to you. So your call. Did he own a barge? Didn't he own a barge? Put some money on the table. Did he own a house in the Florida Keys? Did I own a yacht? What do you want to wager? I'll give you the paperwork. But you got to come here, and I'll put the paperwork down on the table, and I'll take your money. And if I don't put the paperwork on the table, you keep the money. So you are a little snipe, and there's a big snipe that hasn't stopped sniping me from the sidelines for a couple of weeks. Can't do much about it, but you people that are going to troll other people, that's what you're going to do. So the trolls, I get people all day long telling me, don't stop, continue along with the endless cyber libel and the endless accusations and the endless lawyers' fees. I'll do that. Send me $5,000. Send my brother from another mother $5,000. We'll get together. We'll sing Kumbaya. You send us $5,000. We'll get together some neutral place, and we'll sing Kumbaya, a little song. We'll burn a candle, and we'll sing Kumbaya, and we'll take the money, and we'll decide which videos that I have that I want to use, and which videos does he have that he wants to use, and we'll both file the case, and we'll go from there. But other than that, he wants to call a truce, and I'm okay with that. I have been off of YouTube in that direction for months now, in case you guys haven't noticed, because it's not worth my time. But if you wanted to continue, God almighty, that was a lot of fun. Let's do it again. Send us $5,000 each. The other guy, the Mantis, there's no way. You could send him thousands, 10,000. Don't matter what you send him. That's not going to happen. And all of the people that took the Mantis, the side of the Mantis, and are saying crap about me, that you used to be my friends, like, I won't mention names, but you used to be friendly with me. You come on my channel, you troll me for years. I let you do that. Now you're on the Mantis channel. Go back. You're the man. You're the #1 blogger in the Philippines community. Keep it up. And you send them money. Spends that money on worthless stuff. Absolutely useless. A waste of money. Just like the big cavity. He can't even walk around the lake. He can't do anything. he has become, as the Mantis has become, what Henry Kissinger called useless eaters. They don't contribute anything to society. You don't think I contribute stuff to society? Believe me, you have no idea how much money I've spent in the Philippines. A lot more than my brother from another mother has spent, that's for sure. A lot more than the Mantis. Certainly a lot more than Russ Bundo. And I still pay things in America. It's costing me lots of money in America for different things. But it's none of your business. But that's not the point. The point is, if you want us to keep up the cyber libel, I'm good with that. Send us both $5,000. We'll go get together. We'll sing the song Kumbaya, actually, and then we'll decide what we're going to slander each other with and go to court on your dime. We'll keep $4,000 for our labor and our effort, and you guys win. You get to watch us battle in court. We'll give you an update every 3 or 4 months. To people who know who you are, you people are the biggest backstabber trolls we're talking about. You people that have the videos that I once wanted, and I know you have them, because apparently you have every video that was ever made. And you said, yeah, I'll get it for you. I'll look for it. I don't have that one video. You're a bunch of, you're liars. You're liars. You're certainly liars. And you know people that do have those videos, and you didn't give it to me. But you want it to continue, and you know who you are. Just last week, I got at least 7 or 8 messages saying, Fazio, you know what's going to happen. It's all going to start over again in a few weeks. Okay, maybe that's true. But you want it to go on, and you're not paying me anything for my time. You're not going to pay my lawyer if it does go on, so you need to mind your own damn business. All of you need to mind your own, unless you want to pay for my time and his time. Just go away. I'll go back to the comments now. Tarkus. I am Batman. Fuck, oh, God, talking about trolls. Goddamn. Batman. He's famous. I'm always watching, says Batman. If in fact Pelican Drumsticks has called a truce and will leave you alone, I can divert my attention to fighting crime someplace else in the Philippines. Well, that's what we're working towards, Batman. Now you guys don't even know. I don't even know who Batman is. All I know is that Batman has continually confided and conversed with me for years. Even gave me information and tutelage. He tutelaged me on the case. Batman has been a good man. He fights crime wherever he can. He's like a superhero. So Batman is watching, always watching from behind the scenes. I don't know who Batman is. To this day, 4 years, 3 years, I don't know who Batman is. I know he sent me a Batman shirt. He sent me these earbuds. Sent me this fan that you put on your head a while back, and then I bought another one, a backup, and I painted it yellow so I could see. And you put this on, and it blows air up like that on your head. Really nice. Batman sent this. Batman sent me a pair of shorts. These shorts are $35. Batman shorts, a Batman shirt, a Bat headset, another a pair of pants. Batman has been very good to me. So more better than most of you people. So if you think that you want this to continue, bust out the credit card, man. And Russ Bundo, you caught a piece of a conversation between Jack Thompson and I, and posted it as if Jack and I we're mad at each other. Jack and I fight like that almost two or three times a week. All kidding aside, we argue with each other at the top of our lungs, curse each other out. One of us will hang up on the other guy, and the next day we call him and say, hey, what's up? So that was just a normal conversation. That's been going on for 5 years. That's our relationship. Me and him. Today's fight was, he's building an 18-unit building, 18 units, condominiums. Jack Thompson is building 18 units. And they poured what they call monolithic pour, concrete, for the wall, the footer, and a small ledge. And the form blew out. I don't know how it blew out. So I said to Jack, send me a picture. I don't have a picture. What do you mean you don't have a picture? You got to take a picture. No, I didn't take a picture. I said, well, then how big is the blowout? Well, I don't know. And he started to tell me how big the wall was. I said, well, did the whole wall blow out? No, just part of the wall. How big was the blowout? And he couldn't tell me. He never really measured it. But either way, he has a blowout. So I said, well, Jack, get a picture and send it to me. But we talk about construction stuff all the time. And he asked me how he could make the blowout look like it didn't blow out. And I said, Jack, that's going to be, because it has to be a monolithic pour, one pour. And I said, that's not possible. I don't know why he doesn't have a picture. But I said, first of all, you'd have to get the same mix you'd have to mix somehow the concrete the same way, from the same company, use the same type of cement. There's Portland cement, but there might be a different cement. It might be a gray, it might be a dark gray. You'd have to get that, and you'd have to somehow blend it in. Not possible. An inspector's going to see a patch. So we talked about that. But we also argue about that. Where's the picture? What are you talking to me if you don't have a picture? What are you asking me for? Show me the blowout, and I'll tell you what I think, but I can't. You don't know how big it is. I can't give you advice. So, but the guy, Russ Bundo, he thinks that putting stalking, what some people call it, and getting part of a conversation. That whole conversation that lasted for several more minutes, and when we were done, I don't even think we hung up on each other that day. It was a special day. So that's nonsense. So let's go back. Tarkus, Raymond Maximus says, Tarkus, you know what? That might have been the Emerson, Lake and Palmer concert that was in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Could have been 74, 75. It was a complete, it was a sold-out show, and there probably wasn't 2,000 or 3,000 people in Madison Square Garden during a blizzard. I'll never forget that, because when we got out, it had stopped snowing and it warmed up. And was Matthew mad? Because we left without Matthew. We didn't think we were ever going to get there. With the train, it was so much of a blizzard that we thought that the trains were going to shut down, so we went to the city early. It could have been Tarkus. It was the one where the guy went upside down with the piano, when he was singing at the piano and he went upside down. And nobody could figure out by themselves, did that guy just go upside down on the piano? We had to ask each other. we were pretty monkeyed up. It was confirmed. The piano went upside down. Whoa! That's amazing. Tarkus, that's right, Raymond Maximus. John Blaze. Jack Thompson is here. John Blaze, I will delete any personal attacks on this man So please keep it above board, please, says John Blaze. That's entirely up to you. That's up to you. It'd be nice, but I mean, thank you, John. Yeah, I mean, it's listen, I had a letter written, I was going to post it. It's got to stop. It's one way or another. One day it's going to stop. So it's got to stop. Could stop today. It could stop next week. 100%. I haven't mentioned him in a negative manner in it's going on 2 months now at least, because I decided that I was going to stop months ago, and I'm gonna. And he put out the word that he's thinking about stopping as well, and well, he should. It's not gonna. What he said in one of his videos yesterday about getting old, it's taken a lot of time away from me, and it's taken a lot of time away from him. Certainly not good for his family life. Although I could, if I married the daughter of Gilda, she's a beautiful girl. If I married her, I could take a small part of the burden, family, the helping of the family. I could take a percentage or 1/8 of the burden. That'd be nice. I don't know how much. I don't know how Daisy May would like that though. But I'm just saying. Just a thought. Okay, don't get upset. It's a joke. But yeah, it should stop, because it's not gonna stop. He has money, and as you well know, I wagered Barry Jordan $5,000 cash money, because he said I didn't have permits for the hotel, and I do, and I'll wager him $5,000 if he brings his motorcycle to Bohol. It's not his motorcycle, by the way. I don't believe that. But if he brings the motorcycle to Bohol, the one with the broken mirrors, I'll accept damaged goods, because he has damaged goods. There's no doubt about that. And he brings the owner, who's on the registrar of the motorcycle, to Bohol, whoever that is, with identification. Barry Jordan, the owner of the motorcycle, the registration and the title to the motorcycle, and myself will go to the police department and confirm that that person is of legal age, owns the motorcycle, has clear title to the motorcycle, no loan, and the registration, we'll put that on the table for the police department. And so now the registration title for the motorcycle's on the table, and I'll drop $5,000 on the table. And we go to the building department, which is about 75 feet from the police station, and we go to, and I showed them my plans, and we talked to the inspectors. And if Michael Fazio has plans under the name Michael Fazio, and permits and plans to go ahead with all 7 stamps, then I keep the motorcycle. And if I don't, if my plans are fake, if I can't prove that who I am, and they all know who I am anyway, then you keep the money. So you would actually come out with enough money to pay your lawyer's bills. So that that could be the way that Barry will believe that somebody wants to help him. I want to help Barry. I want to wager him his motorcycle, which is worth less than $2,000, against my 5. And if he wins, he's way well. He can pay his immigration fees, and he could pay off whatever loan is on the motorcycle. But it got to be clear title. He's got to have the registration. So I didn't offer him $5,000 for his lawyer. I wagered $5,000. And to Russ Bundo, we have the same wager. Did I own a barge? We'll do that like that. Do I have plans and permits? We'll do that like that. Whatever you want to do. But you got to put it up also. And the next time that we see each other, we'll have legal paperwork and I'll show you the ownership of the barge. And I've owned the barge since 1988. I sold it in 1999 to buy the house, but that's not the point. How many hundreds of videos do I have on the barge? Some I released, some I didn't. Or do you think I had my telephone number on the barge? But do you think people lend you a barge or you rent a barge? I paid $17,000 a year for insurance for that barge. I may even have Lloyd's of London insurance policies still to this day. I may have saved them. I don't know. But you put yourself in a really bad position by stalking, quote unquote, is what people said you did. And now I know, and they asked me to put the information out that they have video of you doing something with bags of something, and they're going to send those videos to the PDEA. So you screwed the pooch there, dude. You wanted to be a member of the Philippines blogging genre and come in with a big splash. Well, you did that. You did that. Everybody knows who you are now. And you gained, oh my God, you gained 24 subs. Oof. And me, I'm your sub now too. So you guys want the drama to continue? Pay me for it. Pay me for it. And Raymond Maximus, I think that was Tarkus. I actually do believe that was the Tarkus album. The one with the armadillo on it. That was cool. That was so cool. So, I am Batman. The Batman still does not trust. Oh, but Batman knows. Well, of course. I am Batman. The Batman still does not trust Frankie B. Of course. It's hard in this community to trust anybody. Things change, people change their mind. But it would be, if it ended for a few weeks and then we start like that, when you quit smoking, you stop for a day, maybe you like it. Who knows? Maybe he'll like it. No more. He'll have, if I'm not involved with it, and John, the great John Blaze, is not involved with it, he'll have that much more time to focus on the current events. And dude, Barry, not for nothing, man. All kidding aside, you believe it's okay. I went through this with you the other day. Barry said that he believes it's okay that Russ Bundo came to my house and did a video of my shack and my property. Like I said, it's not the most illegal thing that ever happened. But he also believes that any foreigner should be able to beat up any other foreigner without repercussions. So where does that start and stop? Barry, direct question. Where does it start and stop? Does it start and stop with anybody should be able to go to Bahal and beat up anybody without going to jail or getting in trouble? Or is it all of the Visayas? And then how far does it go, Barry? Because you got yourself in a bind on this one. I have the recording. I don't care about the recording because that was one where you have no face, no case. But where does it start? Does it start with let's say somebody goes to your house and I don't know, they have a fight with you. Let's just say that you and somebody else have a fight. And let's make it fair. Somebody your size and you have a fight. And you get into a good old fashioned scrap. And that person loses, because of course they're going to lose, right? So, and you beat them up. And you beat them up and, I don't know, you hurt them, seriously injured them. And they're not allowed to go to the police, even if you started the fight, you drew first, you raised your fist first. So where does it start and stop? Does it start that you can beat them up and then break a leg or break an arm or break their fingers or kick them in the head, do brain damage? Where does it start and stop? So that's a legitimate question, Barry. So you think it's okay that that goes on between two foreigners, but then in the same breath, you moved and no one believes why you moved. Let's just get that straight right now. No one believes why you moved. You did not move because of electric, the increase in electric. No, it might be a factor, but you were the one who used the electric and the gas and the internet. So you used the power and the data and the gas for the stove. You were the one who used it. You left all the lights on in the house on a regular basis. You leave the refrigerator door open. Your landlord probably saw that and said, well, you know, he can stay if he gives us another 6,000 pesos a month, which is what you burnt up as using power, data, and gas, probably close to it. And the landlord's entitled to make money from that. Your original agreement that you rent the place with utilities, yeah, you had that, but you didn't have it in writing, so you didn't have that. You had it and you didn't have it. Had you been a better tenant, maybe he would not have said that, but you did. He did. That's done. But you didn't move because of an increase in electrical, gas, and data wages, costs. You moved because you don't want anybody to know where you live, because you don't want anybody to come and see you, because you don't want to fight anybody. Okay, that's fair. But in the same sense, you think it's okay for other people to go beat other people up. You screwed the pooch on that one, dude. So you think it's funny. You were rolling on the floor laughing. You couldn't stop laughing. And now, like I said, I'm going to be the one laughing at you. You're going to lose. I don't care what you got. And I don't care about all the people that used to be my friend that back you up now. I don't care about all of that. I know what I saw. And I saw things that you can't move around. I'm not even going to mention it again, because I don't really care. But there are things that you said and did, if they were recorded, you're not moving around those things. You could have a lot of information, and you could even have videos that might work in court. I don't know. But if the other recordings were recorded, you're going to lose. It's not a question of if. It's just a question of when. So, and I told you, don't do it. That's the fun part. I told you, don't do it. Don't put your face in videos and threaten people. And you did it. And you said the name, the full name, and where you're going to go to do it. You could move around that. You could have circumvented it, like I don't know, I'm going to go beat up Mario from Mario Brothers. And then, and Mario from Mario Brothers lives in Boca Lord. And you're going to go. You could have used an altruism? No. You could have used a fictitious name, but you didn't do that. You didn't do that. So you're going to lose, but you think it's okay for other people to beat other people up as long as they're foreigners, but you ran away so no one would know where you live because you're afraid of somebody coming after you. Well, if it's okay for them to beat me up, should be okay for them to beat you up. I think that's fair. And as far as not knowing where you live, that's easy enough. The other guy, my brother from another mother, all he has to do is tell his lawyer to tell the mobile police department, I have papers I have to give Barry, and they're going to give him your address. They're going to give the lawyer your address, and that's it. So you can run. You can run, but you can't hide, dude. You were told not to do those things. And you call me a stupid piece of tissue. You call me a stupid piece of tissue. You who doesn't have a clue when it comes to what the law is. And I offered to tell you. So did CFD or CDF. I forget his name. They offered to help you before you got yourself jammed up like this. And as far as not being your fault, oh, yeah, it was. You promised. You made promises. I'm not going to repeat the promises, but you made promises that you were not going to stop. And you continued every day, day after 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 day, every day. And look at where you are now. So calling me a piece of whatever tissue, and saying I'm stupid and I'm fat and I'm ignorant. I think you call it. I could say it down. Ignorant. I'm ignorant. Really? And I have 11 federal and state licenses, and you? I'm listening. I don't hear anything. Well, of course I can't. You can come on here and post what you want, but you... How am I ignorant? Tell me how I'm ignorant. Come on. I know you're just yelling and screaming out of anger, but how am I ignorant? What have I done that was ignorant? You think I'm ignorant because I believe the earth is flat? Dude, Barry, the earth is flat, dude. Canoy in the Philippines sent me a video this morning. He knows the earth is flat. Flying Circus is coming around real quick after he's watching some of the videos I gave him. The videos that I'm going to give out today can't be refuted. There's nothing to refute. They're factual. And the facts go back thousands of years. You think I'm kidding about the earth being flat? I'm not being kidding. You people have all been fooled. And anybody that said I was stupid because I believe the earth is flat, they are the stupid ones. They are the fools that have been, the wool has been pulled down over their eyes. I'm not stupid. I'll explain to you how gyroscopes work. I'll explain to you how fluid dynamics works, where water seeks its own level. I'll explain to you density as opposed to gravity, because there is no such thing as gravity at all. Gravity doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist in nature. It doesn't exist in an example that you can use from any other material in the world. I'll even tell you that the speed of light is not constant. Gravity, if gravity existed, you could take, it's already been done, but you could take a chunk of metal that weighs 20 tons, a big chunk of metal. Not 20 tons is really not that big, actually. Not much bigger than a few cubic yards. And take that 20 cubic ton or 20 ton chunk of metal and hang a metal BB, on a thread next to it, and it won't adhere to the 20 ton. It won't adhere to the 20 tons of steel. Take 100 tons. Take 1,000 tons. Take a 1,000-ton crane and put the BB next to the crane. All things being equal, without any outside excess forces like magnetism or friction, the BB will not be coerced to go towards the metal. It's a fact. It's been done before. I've seen the experiments. I've talked to my teacher, Mr. Nick. He explained that there's no such thing as gravity, but we didn't even understand what he was talking about. And as far as the speed of light, it's not constant. Einstein was wrong. Einstein said that light exists as two elements. Okay, matter and photons. But light can be bent, which is bull, bologna, and cheese. Light bends when it goes past the sun because of the sun's gravitational pull. It does not. It doesn't do that. But let's say it did. Let's just say it did. Well, that would mean that light has mass and that light bends And if it bends, it's going to take longer to get from point A to point B. Therefore, the speed of light is not constant, because if light has mass, and there is such a thing as gravity, which there is not, when it goes past the sun, the gravity is going to pull on it to slow it down. Same that gravity is going to pull it to bring it closer too. But at some point, the speed of light changes, which means it's not constant. It doesn't have to change much to destroy the constant speed of light at 186,000 something miles per second. But that's all nonsense. We've been lied to. Do you not understand it? I got to go back to the comments, or I'm never going to. I got to get something to drink. Hold on, something to drink, and he has some magic. It's magic. Oh, that's cold. It was 26 degrees this morning when I woke up, Celsius. Well, thank you, John. John says he's going to delete any personal attacks on a man in order and keep it above board. That'd be nice, but, you know, that's your prerogative, but thank you, John. So, Batman still does not trust Frankie. Batman, you and I, we have our doubts, but we'll see what happens. Could always go back, I say back. But let's try not to let that happen. Now, oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't, Frankie B, I did not go to my, I didn't go through my block list. I can't I'll try to remember to do that later. Sorry. I had a lot of stuff to do this weekend. Good morning, Mike. Hope you're feeling better. I am. Thank you. What amps is it rated at? 25. I don't know. Let's take a look. Here's the book. Specifications, general description, it's rated at 500. No, that's the fuse. Maximum voltage between terminals and earth ground, 1000 DC, 700 AC. Okay. Fuse protection power supply counts, measuring method. And it doesn't say the amperage. AC voltage, AC voltage range, resolution, accuracy, 1 amp. Okay, wait a second. We're moving into that. $10 milliamps. 20 amps. 20 amps is the answer. It's rated at 20 amps. AC current, 20 amps. Right here on the bottom. And DC, same thing, 20 amps. It's not a big unit. It only costs $8. Less than that, maybe $7. And I just need it for 12-volt batteries, so I'm good with that. I don't use it for the house. Okay, let's go to the next comment. Good day. Oh, Aloe de Winter, the great Aloe de Winter. I did go over your material, Aloe. I notified Ross Bundo that they have on some Discord server videos of him with bags of flowers. I don't remember what kind of flowers they were. Jack Thompson is in the Hey, buddy. How you doing? We know stuff. We know stuff. Michael Dowdy, the PDEA will jack him up. Zero tolerance might be a drive-by. I don't think they'll do anything, but Rusty Bundo. I don't know that they'll do anything. I have no idea. I'm not real sure what they'll do, but all I know is that the great Aloe de Winter asked me to pass on information, and I did that. Even Batman can't help Barry. No, there's no redemption for Barry. There's not going to be any redemption. It's unfortunate because, you know, I would never in a million years ever be friends with Barry. I have people like Barry that worked for me. They would fill up containers of, with rocks or move rocks or fill up wheelbarrows and put rocks in them and carry them to the back of the job site or to the front of the job site. But he has, as a worker, I don't know what his skill set is. I wouldn't say never did construction work, but now he has no intrinsic value as a laborer. He can't do anything, so, but it's not like I wanted this to happen to him. I tried to warn him, but Batman says, no, even Batman can't. Even Batman, I don't know who Batman is, but if Batman says he can't help Barry, then he can't help Barry. It's not complicated. Unblock Jack Blaze. Batman at this point can only point the police to the exact location where Barry now resides. Batman would know. This message held for review. Okay, that's not bad. YouTube is holding back comments that are really not, I don't know. Michael Dowdy said, the Mantis has classic little man syndrome. Thank you, Michael, for the post. It's going to get dirty, says Jack Thompson. I am the other guy, says Jack Thompson. The waffle tosser. Oh, my God. You know what? I watched this movie a while ago, a couple of years back, and it might have even been on a Who album where he called him a tosser. And I don't know if you guys know what a tosser is, but it's not a nice name. I love you, Mike, but just watch the latest spacewalk. Jack Thompson, you guys don't know about Jack Thompson. There's some things that you should know about Jack Thompson. First of all, I'm going to start off with Jack's okay. He's half gay. So those of you who are out there looking for a real man, Jack could be your man. If you guys have ever thought about hooking up with a gay carpenter, half gay carpenter, Jack is the man. He's the man. He told me the other day, he goes, I'm okay, Mike, I'm only half gay. And I'm going, what? Are you serious? He goes, yeah, I'm okay, I'm only half gay. And I said, okay. Is there anything I could do for you? Make a video for you. Are you going to Thailand? You could hook up with, with a guy over there in a ladyboy bar. Jack knows where all the ladyboy bars are. He told me that. And I said, how would you know where all the ladyboy bars are? And he said, well, I'm half gay, Mike. That was an epiphany. And talking about epiphanies, we should bring up Scott Del Fuego. You guys know what the word epiphany is? When you put it in the when I get down to the bottom of the comments, remind me about epiphany. I'm at the bottom of the comments. I'm at an epiphany. So I'm on the phone. Frankie B. I swear this is real, Frankie B. My brother from another mother. He's going to, I know he's going to laugh. So, Jack and I had finished talking. I go on to move on to Scott. He was having a roast beef. He was having sandwiches at a birthday party. Actually, it was a birthday party. So, and he was telling me the foods that he had on the table, and because I haven't had anything but pork, nothing, no other food at all, nothing, zero, nothing but pork in 10 days, maybe 11. I'm back on that carnivore diet. So Scott had to do something, and I had to go take a bath. So I went outside, and I took my bath. And while I'm sitting down washing, I had an epiphany. I had a real epiphany, and I started laughing. I dreamt mentally, psychically, in my mind, I was thinking to myself, it was just a far out thought. What if Frankie B and me, we put bygones be bygones, as Frankie B said. What if we do that, and I go to meet him, and that girl, Gilda's daughter, the birthday girl, I think her name is Nancy, Lena, I forget. But what if she's there and we fall in love with each other and we get married? That Frankie B would have to call me son and I'd have to call him dad. So that was my epiphany. And I was laughing so hard. The people could hear me everywhere laughing. I was laughing out loud. Tears were coming out of my eyes. So I get done, and I go in the house, and I get back on Skype with Scott, because we weren't done talking, and I said, Scott, I just had an epiphany, and he goes, you married Frankie's daughter. I almost died. I was laughing so hard. We didn't even talk about that girl. He was just talking about the birthday that he had come back from his sister's house. We didn't talk about that girl at all. He just said he had watched the birthday party video, but we didn't talk about that video. We hadn't talked about that. We only talked about what he did that day and what I was going to do with videos. I'm reloading videos from my other channel, and I reloaded an editing program that freezes up my computer, so I got to undo it. And he goes, you married Frank's daughter, and he has to call you son, and you have to call him dad. And it was almost as if he read my mind, or I read his mind. I don't know, but that's true. That's true, Dad. That's true. I'm not lying. I thought that, and now it's so what that makes, that's why I mentioned it today. You know, that could happen if you think hard enough. You focus. Let's just say I had a candle, and I put all that energy into the candle, and I said, I did I don't know, whatever the marriage chant. Here comes the bride. I just walk around humming all day. Here comes the bride. Dad, son. And that would be it. I would be, and the best part about marrying that girl is that I know that my future father-in-law has the money to pay for the wedding. A nice wedding. Throw me a nice wedding. couple of hundred people, rent some tables and chairs, have some of that sticky rice cookies, some galamar, some shrimps, some oatmeal cookies, and milk. That would be, oh God, that would be great. I was thinking, if he threw a birthday party like that for the girl, imagine what he would throw for our wedding. It would be like the talk of Mentalian Island. Everybody would be talking. Wow. Fazio married, I don't know her name. I forget her name. But if it happened, they would know her name. They'd put it on. We'd have to put it on the envelopes. I could even collect envelopes. And I get an envelope from my dad, Frankie B, my new dad. I could call him Dad. He's older than me, so it would be okay. DNC is in the house. Hold on a second. Michael Dowdy, psychic powers. Michael Dowdy, ha ha ha. The only magic that Jack Thompson has to share is the fact that he told me the other day he's okay, he's half gay. That's the only magic that I know of. I am Batman. Mantis Sweet Gums McGee is toast, says I am Batman. Oh, he is. Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, all kidding aside, Barry. Barry, look, I told you, you think this idea came from the ether. My idea, oh my God, it's raining like a son of a gun again. My idea was for you, if I was you, the money that I was collecting, if I was saving it, I'd start saving it. Me, personally, if I was you, and this is good advice, it's probably not, if I was you, the first thing I would work on is my immigration papers, to get those up to date. I would do that. That would be first. Before the lawyer, before anything else, before marriage. I wouldn't have bought the motorcycle. But if I was you, I would go to the Manila American Consulate and see what they could do for you. Because you need help, dude. You need help. Otherwise, I don't see a good end on your end. For me, you know, it could go on for 4 or 5, 3 years, 2 years, if that's what's going to happen. It'll go on for a while. Eventually, it'll stop. But you are going to have, there's going to be a point in your case where there's just not going to be. If they can get you for overstaying, well, they're going to nail you for at least $5,000. You need that. I mean, if someone gives it to you, then you're going to be okay. But I would get that straightened out before I went to court. Otherwise, if you go to court and it's not straightened out, it's going to be detrimental. That's my advice to you. But you don't take advice. Therefore, I was just spitting in the wind. The best ideas, inventions are policies. And policies are a product of sitting on the thinking chair, the thinker's chair. That's true. On the throne. We used to call it the porcelain throne. Damn, laid down for a short nap 8.5 hours later. It's the weather, DNC. The weather is killing everybody's get up and go. Frank's son-in-law. It has a kind of a good ring to it. A good ring. Michael Dowdy. John Blaze gave him the best help. Rent a jet ski and head northeast. Mantis vlogs from China. That was good advice. But I know, Michael, I lived on the water my whole life. If you're not familiar with navigation, A compass would probably work, but if it gets snotty out there, and it does, I don't know that his back would take the beat. His back might not take a beating like that. But that was good advice. I am Batman. If Lady Karma's influence grants Mike his wish, Mike is going to have to come up with a few cases of Metamucil and a dowry payment. I'm going to get a dowry payment from Brother Frank, who will now be dead. Hold on a minute. It's really... the wind is in my favor. The wind is blowing that way. Yeah, that... I know. Frank, I know you're sitting there going... like Uncle Fester. Oh, son. I'm not going to call him son. I'm never going to call him son. But you'll have to. You'll have to, because I'll be family. Familia. I would be the one at the wedding that puts his arm around you, gives you a big hug. I love you, man. Dad, I love you, man. Oh, that would be funny. It was all get up. That'd be funny. That would be a funny thing. Michael Dowdy, cherry flavored Metamucil. La Familia. La Familia, my La Familia. I'll be right next to him, hugging him. I have my drone shirt on with the big smile. That'd be great. That'd be great. That'd be wonderful. I'll get some super chat then, yeah? I'll get some super chat. I'll give you super chat. I'll give you drama. Song. Case of champagne. I don't drink alcohol really that much. I had a drink with Scott for Christmas. I didn't like the way I felt the next day. Then there was still a 3/4 of a bottle. What the hell was the name of that stuff? I still have some. It was Curacao. I got it right here. I got what's left. This stuff. This stuff destroys you. It's blue. And it's sweet, but it's 86 proof. So this bottle has lasted me since Christmas. It's a liqueur, very sweet. It actually, if you have a craving for something sweet, so this lasted me, today's the 9th, and 14 days, 2 weeks. But I don't drink it every day. It's good stuff though, it really tastes good. I even put some in my coffee, about like 10 or 12 drops. It makes my coffee really sweet. It's delicious. I don't know if you guys like liqueur. I don't like hard alcohol. John Blaze, is that for his daughter's ferry ride to see me? Oh, that would be something, man. That would be... That girl. Gilda, you made good-looking children, Gilda. And all kidding aside, I know everybody goofs on my brother from another mother, but you look at that house, okay? The house in general. The house came out really nice. But Gilda keeps the house like a museum. I got to tell you, she reminds me of my mom. My mom was like that. The house sparkles. My mother's house, that was her job. Cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, going grocery shopping, and keeping the house clean. Gilda does a nice job on the house, all kidding aside. And when the mantis says Gilda doesn't work, she works, dude. Look. You gotta call a spade, Barry. You gotta learn. You can lie about whether or not Gilda works, but Gilda that's her job, to keep the house clean, and she does a nice job. The house always sparkles. Do you think it's easy to keep a house sparkling? Even the dust from the road, and there's a lot of dust on that road because there's a lot of, in case any of you didn't know, it's not a paved road. Not yet. They were going to get to that by Christmas, but they never got to that by Christmas. A lot of dust. But forget the road dust. Forget the road dust. Forget the mud that comes from the rain, and it's been raining. Forget the mud. What about, you have no idea. Hey, Barry, look, this is for you. This is for everybody. I had a dog. Dogs walk outside in the mud. You could bring the dog in the house. You could put the dog's feet on a floor mat, and wipe their feet. The dust gets in between the pads on their feet, in between the toes, and it gets in there as a mud. And when it dries, it falls out onto the floor in the house all day long. Every time the dog goes outside, it gets mud on their paw. The only way to prevent that would be to have a power washer and power wash the dog's paws every time you come in the house, and then the paws would be wet. And then the mud would have to go into the bathtub or the sink or something. You'd have to have a whole process to let the dog in, let the dog out. So Gilda has to deal with all that mud from the dog's paws, the hair from the dogs, and clean the house. And if you look at that house during the time of the party, it was very clean. You got to give her that. She does a good job with the house. That's work. If she did that for a living for somebody else, she's only going to make 400 pesos a day maximum, and food if she lived in a person's house. So that job that she has, my mother had that job. My father never asked my mother to go to work, but she wanted to work when we left the house, when we were both out of the house. But in the meantime, her life was cleaning the house when she got home from work, before work, after work. During the commercials, remember there were 7-minute commercials? My mother would be polishing stuff in the china cabinet. That's a lot of work. A lot of work. Gilda keeps the house very nice. But, so Barry's saying that she doesn't work, that's nonsense. That's not. And I'm not kissing Frank's butt because of that. That happens to be the truth. A woman that keeps the house clean, does the laundry, cooks, and cleans up the dishes and the sink and the refrigerator, and folds the laundry, and sweeps the floor. That's a full-time job. You don't do it. I don't do it. That's for sure. I would never do it. I had a maid. If I wanted a clean house, I had a maid. And when I didn't want a maid, I didn't care about the dust or the dirt on the floor. Just, I'd take the blower and blow it on a windy day. Whatever went outside, that was it. I was done. Dusting was never my thing. I have videos of me blowing out the house with a 680 cubic foot per minute blower. There's videos on YouTube still to this day. I should get those videos. That's how I clean my house. If stuff blew off the shelf, it blew off the shelf. I put it back up on the shelf. I blew out behind the refrigerator, under the stove. With that blower, you could blow a brick across the street, halfway across to the middle of the street. It blew the dust out of the rug. It blew the deck off. I did that every time it got windy. All the windows open, blow the house, close the windows, put the blower away, done. I'm done cleaning. Take about 7 or 8 minutes to clean my whole house. Inside, outside, under the refrigerator, behind the refrigerator, on top of the refrigerator, under the stove, behind the stove, in the kitchen cabinets, everything done. 8 minutes, I'm done. That's it, finished. Finito. Let's go back up here. Michael Dowdy says cherry flavored Metamucil. Diane Batman says La Familia. Yeah, baby. Case of champagne from Michael Dowdy. Thank you. Can I super chat to hear some old stories from New York? Canny Ford. I could tell you the story about I saw a spaceship. If you want. Not only did I see a spaceship, but Ernie, the guy I was with, saw a spaceship. And he did not want to believe that he saw it. I could tell you a spaceship story, and it's a true story. If you want to super chat me, I'll tell you. It was his his 40th birthday party. Boy, did I monkey him up with what happened that day. But I'll tell you a good story. So, and then that'll go to the kind of people I hung out with. Let's put it like that. It was, what a night. His 40th birthday, but if he's still alive, he'll never forget it. Never will he forget his 40th birthday party. The things that happened to him on that night. So yeah, you're allowed to super chat. Thanks for stopping by. Canny Ford was a member of my Patreon account for years. Thank you, and he's always been my friend. So yes, bang the pot and bang it every morning to wake up La Familia. I could teach. What is his daughter's name? What is Gilda's daughter's name? Lisa? Nisi? I forget. But you know what? When I saw that girl at her birthday party, I don't care what her name is. I'll marry her. I don't care. She's real. What a pretty smile, pretty girl. Nice, very quiet, meek. That's like me. The same with the match made in heaven. I'll tell you that. Yeah. La Familia. Michael Dowdy. Oh, this stuff here? Oh, God, Mike, you know what this stuff costs? This, blue Curacao liqueur. 268 pesos. So that would be about $5.50, maybe. But it lasted me 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Tastes good too, but I'm gonna stop with that. That's nonsense. Drinking during the day, but that stuff is good. I mean, but I drank that stuff with Scott on Christmas. Oh, it's very sweet. Well, you talk about a headache. Oh, God. I woke up the next day. I didn't even wake up the next day. It was 9 o'clock in the morning when I called Scott, and it was Christmas, so it was like 9 o'clock Christmas night. Could have been 8 o'clock in the morning, and we had said we'll have a drink with each other on Christmas, and we did. I drank half that bottle, and he was drinking. I forget what he was drinking. Could have been brandy. I don't remember what he was drinking. I was drunk, and then we drank, and then by 1 o'clock, we were 3 sheets to the wind, baby, and somehow we lost the connection. That was it. We said goodnight. But yeah, that was funny. Strong back, as opposed to narrow back. Jack is starting already. credit Miss Gilda. She was very, very, very pretty girl. I got to tell you, man. Pelican, hard to remove from the floor. Mama has no idea what he's talking about. He does not. He doesn't. You know, me, I don't care. You know, Daisy was like Gilda, but Daisy had nothing to clean. Everything is a mess here. But she kept it organized and as clean as it could be clean. Me, I don't care. I never cared. I'm never going to care. You can spend, I watched my mother spend every waking moment of her life cleaning the house, vacuuming. Commercial, come on, the vacuum would go across the room. She'd pass the vacuum. She'd pass a rag on the coffee table. She'd pass the rag on the bureau. Commercial would go off. She'd sit down. We'd watch the movie. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend my... I don't care about dust. I don't care that the pot has... it's brown on the outside where the burner makes it brown from just natural... I don't care about that. Jack, I am Batman. He doesn't have any idea what he's talking about. That's true. Jack Thompson said Gilda is absolutely awesome. You look, we didn't see any dirt or dust or mess anywhere. You know that she's taking care of that. She's taking care of the house. That's a job, man. So Barry does not have any idea. Now maybe his girlfriend is clean also, but she had one room. Gilda has God knows how many rooms. I don't know. There's 6, 7 rooms. How many tables and how many chairs, and you got to move all that stuff when you're sweeping the floor and the hallway. That's a lot of work, man. If I had that house, I'd have that place looking like a... You know how much junk I could store in that house? You have any idea? You know how much room is in there? I could have stuff everywhere. Give me that house for a couple of months, Frank will come back. No! Look what you did to my house. He'd have a nervous wreck. He'd have a breakdown. He'd have to start drinking. Get me some of that stuff that you're drinking. James Marshall Hendricks. Now, that's a name that was around when Warren Hunt was around. That name goes back several years. So is that Warren Hunt? Has he came to visit? Come back, I say, rise, like Zachariah, whatever that, what was that guy's name? Arose. Jesus made him rise from the dead. Zachariah, Zachary, Zacharias, Zephyr. That looks like Warren to me. Michael Dowdy, like Barry is someone to talk about someone not working. Barry's never worked a day in his life. We know that. Gilda keeps the house immaculate. Jack with his destruction of the English language. So DNC, emasculate. On my 40th birthday, I didn't see a spaceship. I saw a couple of pink elephant stuff. Okay, so... All right, so I got to give you some background. I'll give you a story you'll never forget. The background is the crew I stayed with was based off of Schenectady Avenue, and Avenue N was the main meeting area in what we call the office. Okay, it was a lot of things, but it was an office. So there were 36 men, and 36 wives or girlfriends. So there were 72 people altogether as friends. And John, and you've heard me talk about John before, John the Undertaker, the gravedigger we used to call him, but he was an undertaker and a gravedigger. He was a real undertaker, but he worked as a gravedigger also. So, and he worked in graves near the golf course in Bay Ridge. It was near the L, where 1855 Nostrand Avenue was a big grave around there. I forgot exactly where it was, but he lived in a house that looked like the Addams family's house. Anyway, he would get tickets from Ticketron because his wife worked at Ticketron, and we would go out 70, 60, 50, 55, 60, 40 people. We would get tickets for Engelbert Humperdinck, Donna Summers, all the famous musicians that were played at the Westbury Music Theater. That's where we went. But on Ernie was the main guy. He was the one who put everything together, all the deals. Everything went through Ernie. So it was his 40th birthday party. So we're going to have a party, and he lived on 95th Street with me. I lived at 16446, 95th Street on the top floor. He lived at 16444, the top floor. Overlooking, we could see the World Trade Centers from our front, and the statue, and the Empire State Building, not the Statue of Liberty. But from our front balcony, we could see the Empire State Building, the top of it, and the World Trade Centers. I have a video up. The best apartment in Queens, or the best apartment I ever had. It was beautiful. Anyway, and the back of it was to the beach. So we're going to have a party for Ernie for his 40th birthday party. There's going to be 100 people now from all of the crew, the entire crew, everybody. But also other people are coming. Ernie's father and mother, Ernie's ex-wife and her boyfriend. There's going to be 100 people. So my house was open and set up for a party. His house was set up for a party. In the balconies, we put two by 12 planks from one balcony to the other. So you could step over the railing and hang out on my balcony or my house and his house. But we have to get Ernie out of the house. So it's going to be a surprise party. It's not going to be, we're going to have a party for Ernie. So it was supposed to be Jan Endias, E-N-D-I-A-S, Endias, and Ernie were going to go out for dinner. And we're going to have a quiet birthday party that was planned for months. So nobody can figure out how to get Ernie out of the house. So I said, well, I have a boat, the Wishing Well, and Ernie has a boat, the Dream Chaser. I'll just tell Ernie that I broke down by Floyd Bennett Field and call him up and tell him I need to get towed back to the house, and I'll park the boat behind the house, and then when the party's over, I'll take the boat back to my dock. So that was a great idea. So I told Ernie I was in Dead Horse Bay, and I was at the Dead Horse Bay Marina, and he had to come and pick me up. And he's going, Mike, it's my birthday. I said, I got to get the boat home, man. So we were best friends for years and years. I had met Ernie back in '77. I lived next door, so it had to be 80, 81 or 82. So he comes to get me. So on the way home, this is a reoccurring sighting of a spaceship I have seen since I was a child. It always takes the same flight path. It always took the same flight path. It always did the exact same thing every time I ever saw it. And I saw it many times because I lived by Kennedy Airport. But I would see it from when I was on the bridge fishing at night fishing for snappers or eels. And I would see it. Sometimes I'd just be hanging out on the bridge because that's where we hung out for the view. And you'd see it. It would come up. It was a ball It was not a spaceship. It was a ball. And it would come from Kennedy Airport. The ball was only about 3 to 5 feet in diameter. It wasn't big. But you would see it because it glowed really big. It was a really big glowing ball. So, and when you saw it, you would say, look, there's the spaceship. And everybody would look up and say, yeah, that's it. Everybody saw it. This was not a hallucination. It would go straight up, not high, maybe 200 feet. And then it would go slowly over the bridge right over our heads. If you had a bow and arrow, you could hit it. It would go right over our heads and go off directly towards Floyd Bennett Field, and then it would go up in the air, straight up. But it went slow to get to Floyd Bennett Field. It was only going about 25 or 30 miles an hour. It was in no hurry. It never was in a hurry. It didn't shoot up in any kind of special speed, fast and slow. It just went up from Kennedy, followed a path to Floyd Bennett Field, and then it went straight up in the air. So we had gotten to Floyd Bennett Field. And with that, I start telling Ernie about the spaceship that I always used to see go over from the bridge where I lived, or from the park. You'd see it. It would, the light was very bright. And the spaceship would go straight up, and it would just travel like a car going towards Floyd Bennett Field at about 25, 30 miles an hour. It was not in any, it wasn't in jeopardy. No one knew what the hell it was. Okay, so I'm telling him this story. And with that, we make the turn by Floyd Bennett Field to head towards the North Channel Bridge and Kennedy Airport. And it was light out when he picked me up about 7:30, but couldn't tow the boat that fast. His boat was called the Dream Chaser. I have pictures of me, Chrissy Oropeza, Tommy Godomsky, and another girl on the boat. They were 2 Filipinas. That was my first Filipina girlfriend. And it was a 21-foot glass bar with a 200-horse inboard-outboard Mercury. It was a fast boat, but it couldn't pull the boat fast. We were in no hurry, because all he was going to do when he got home was go out with Jan for dinner. So that was how we got him out of the house, so 100 cars, 50 cars, 70 cars, motorcycles, trucks could park all around, and we would come in through the back door, and they would see us coming down, him towing the boat, and then the party would be a surprise. So I'm telling Ernie about the spaceship that I used to see come over the water. It followed the water, too. It followed the canal, the channel that we were in. And then when it got to Floyd Bennett Field, it would stop and then go straight up. And I'm telling him the story, and I go, look, there it is. The spaceship. The ball came from the North Channel Bridge. We could see it. Bright. It was bright, like, you know, it might have only been 4 or 5 feet in 3, 4 or 5 feet in diameter, but it was bright, and the brightness was the size of a house. You could see the luminescent coming from the ball. And I'm going, look, there it is. And he looks up, and I look up, and we're looking at the thing, and it's coming straight down. I'm going, that's the spaceship. He's going, he didn't want to believe it. And it got right over our heads, went a little bit over us, went to Floyd Bennett Field, which was like a half a mile back now, and then it went straight up. And I'm going, see? I was telling you the truth. And he's going, don't tell anybody that you saw a spaceship. He goes, nobody will believe us. Nobody will. I'm telling you, everybody's seen this ship since we were little kids. And we get back to the house, and we park the boat, and then he goes to me, Mike, if your boat ever breaks down again, tie it up, come back to the house. Tomorrow we get the boat. It's my birthday. I'm going, oh, man, I'm really sorry, Ben. I'm sorry, bro. You know, because we were such good friends. Oh, man, I'm really sorry. So he goes, he leaves the dock. He's not yelling. He's not screaming. But he just said, if it ever happens again, tie up the boat. I'll come and get you tomorrow. It's my birthday. I wanted to go out with Jan. By this time, it was like 10 o'clock at night. It took a long time to get back. And so he gets up to the top of the, and everybody comes out of my house and his house, his apartment, and everybody's screaming happy birthday. And he kind of just looks down at me and, you know, like that, just kidding around, but he was crying, I was crying. I'm still crying now. It was funny. But what a great party that was. So now, to make matters worse, there's 100 people now. We are busting open bottles of champagne Dom Perignon. That we were drinking Absolute vodka by the case. We bought Absolute vodka by the case. So Annie Kennedy, she comes upstairs around 11 o'clock at night, says, Ernie, can I borrow your car? And he had a big old four-door Lincoln Continental, blown out Lincoln. And he goes, yeah, sure. So he gives her the car, and about an hour later, midnight, right around midnight, he gets a call. She got into a head-on collision on 114th Street off of the Belt Parkway. And now he got a suitcase in the back seat of the car that he remembers. He's got a gun in there, and he's got some other junk in there. And he goes, we got to go. So we jump in my car, and I take him to the accident, and she's okay, and the police were there, and they asked him for his license and registration. Oh, shit, that was funny. So I can't tell you what, there was a lot of stuff in the car that shouldn't have been in the car. And then we did the paperwork. It only took about a half an hour. We left the car. It was junk, the car. It was a terrible accident. And we went back, and there were the people that, the car, who wrecked the car with Annie, Ernie invited them back to the house. And we partied all night. But that was for $2, for a $2 super chat. You got a good story there. And that's all true. I saw that spaceship since the time I was a child, maybe 7 or 8 years old. And I don't remember the last time I saw it, but that was not the last time I saw it. But Ernie would never talk about it after that. He was funny like that. He didn't want anybody to think he was crazy. Me, I don't care. I never cared. I'm never going to care. Thanks, Connie Ford. No bell for you. No problem. Thanks very much, Connie. You've been my friend for years. I appreciate the thought. Thank you. You got a good story, though. That's for sure. And thank you for you were a member of my Patreon community for a really long time. Thank you. My mom and grandma were addicted to Lemon Pledge furniture polish. Talk about slippery. Yeah, my mom. The whole house smelled like Lemon Pledge. Actually, that's all there was. There was Lemon Pledge. And there was an oil. I think there was Lemon Pledge oil. I paint everything yellow, even the dogs. Or that house, Frank's house, would be, we'd have to call it the Yellow Palace. That would be, hey, Warren, it's okay. You're still alive, says Jack Thompson. Who do I need to block? Nobody. Happy New Year's. It's Tony from Howard Beach. Hey, Tony. This guy's been saying Tony from Howard Beach. Apparently we know each other. So, thank you for stopping by, Tony from Howard Beach. I remember, I knew a lot of time, everybody's name was either Tony or James or Michael. The apostle names. Thanks for stopping by, Tony. I remember talking to you a long time ago. I think you actually confided in me who you are, but that was years ago and I forgot. I apologize. Happy New Year, Tony. Everyone is very blocked, says Jack. Nope, don't block anybody, Jack. Red Horse Adventures. Westbury Music Theater had a rotating stage. It did. I have pictures. I'll show you. I have to find the drive. I'm on the #1 drive. I still haven't gotten even halfway through it. But I have pictures of Ernie, me, on stage at the Westbury Music Theater. I had the camera, and he was dancing with Donna Summers. I went up there and did a little bit of this and that, but then she didn't want no part of my dancing. But Ernie, he was a professional musician, a real musician. He played the drums and he played the guitar, but he was a real musician. He had a band. He played at weddings and bar mitzvahs, and aside from, he had also an electronics store. He owned a television repair service. He's really smart like that. But he had a band and he had a TV repair shop. Gem, G-E-M, Gem Electronics. So but he could dance. This guy had rhythm like soul. He had soul. He gets up there and he starts bumping and grinding Donna Summers. He backed her up. He didn't touch her. But she did not expect somebody to be able to dance like that. And she went, woo, like that. You know, she never expected a man, and he was about 6'1", maybe 6'2", tall, thin guy. Handsome guy. You'll see him when I get the pictures out. And he's on stage with Donna Summer. But he backed her up. He scared her. He was dancing so well, you know. And he didn't touch her, but he was bumping and grinding and, like, you know, with his arms around her without touching her. No, the guards didn't come up. But she said, okay, like, that's enough. I wish there was video back then. That was fun. But, yeah, we went to the Westbury Music Theater once a month. Once a month for years. Once a month for years. We saw, I don't remember the names of all the people. I know I saw Johnny Mathis there. I know that for a fact. I saw Donna Summer. I think we saw, I don't remember. I'd have to go back. You're talking about the 1970s and 80s. That's a long time ago for me to remember who we saw. Sounds like the New Year's ball from Times Square flying around. It was only about when it went over. That was when it went over the bridge. It was only 200 feet high. When it went over the boat, it might have been 230 feet. You could see it was a ball, and then the light emanated from the ball. If you put me on a lie detector, it's going to come out that I'm telling the truth. The strange story that we saw the same thing since we were kids. They didn't have anything that could track that ball. They didn't have a helicopter that they could send off, or a jet or anything like that. They know that stuff exists. No, it was my dad's birthday. It was July. If I had to remember and put money on it, it would be July 30th or July 31st of that year. Happy New Year's, Michael. It's Tony from Howard Beach. I wonder, are you Tony with Tony from Archie? From Archie's Electronics? I don't think so. No problem. Okay, thank you. Great times back in the 70s and 80s in Howard Beach. It was crazy times. It was good times. Yeah, I wish I could thank you for the thumbs up. Ooh, I had thumbs up? Really? I never get much thumbs up. 9 thumbs up. Thank you. Hey, Scott. I told him about our epiphany, Scott. How we were crying. I was crying, laughing when Scott goes, yeah, I told Scott, I had an epiphany. And he goes, you married Frank's daughter. And what was her name, Scott? I don't remember her name. Tony said, yes, it was. You have no idea what it was like growing up in Howard Beach. For those of you who grew up in the beach, that's what we called it. If you were from the beach, you wouldn't say Howard Beach. And he, even though Tony said Howard Beach, he just used it as a reference. But where are you from? I'm from the beach. If you live anywhere in New York, now that would be taking either Bergen Beach or Howard Beach. But mostly people came from Howard Beach back then. And upper middle class neighborhood where everybody's father had a good job, a second house, a car, and a boat. And there was no poverty. Pretty much there was no poverty. There was a small area where there were poor people, but the people that basically that we grew up with, we went to kindergarten, PS 146. We went to first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth, fifth, sixth, and then we went to junior high school, 7th and 8th grade. So we all spent 8 years going to the same 2 schools. We all grew up with each other. We all had birthday parties, picnics, 4th of Julys, Easters, and Thanksgiving, and we all went to everybody's house for all those gala events. And it was neighborhood. That was the neighborhood, and it wasn't like all single family or double family houses. There was no crime at all. Nothing. Zero. Nothing. There was never any crime. There was no murders. There was no rapes. There was none of that stuff. It was a beautiful place to grow up. We had Charles Park, which had one wall, handball court on each side. We had 3 tennis courts right behind the basketball courts. We had basketball courts. We had a football field and a football field with baseball on both sides of the football field, and a separate baseball field and football for touch football on the other side. And we had a half-a-mile track around the park. It was a half a mile, 1 lap. And there was water sprinklers. We had 2 sets of swings. We had teeter-totters, climbing, bars, like a little thing like that. And there was a parky house that you could get volleyballs, tennis rackets they would give you. It was free. That's the park that Vitas Gerulaitis learned how to play tennis in. And he lived right up the block from me. It was a great place to grow up. Wasn't you didn't have to put your bicycle away at night. You could just leave it on the front lawn. No one stole it. It was a beautiful neighborhood, Howard Beach. Tony, he knows. He knows. DNC got a story. Let's go. When I was a kid, I saw something similar. He's going there. When I know. As soon as I saw the word orange. When I was a kid, I saw something similar. An orange glowing ball hovering over the ammo dump on Barksfield Air Force Base, where the nukes are stored. It was wild. Oh, okay. Sorry. Old habits die hard. Yeah. And everybody, including the government, knows that UFOs exist. And what their technology is, we have no idea to this day. The technology that listen, if a ball could appear over Kennedy Airport, because we would see it coming over Kennedy Airport. It didn't go fast. They were not afraid of this thing. If the radar saw it, they were not afraid of it. And if it went slow over Kennedy, it went slow over the bridge, it went slow to Floyd Bennett Field, which was an Navy Air Force base at the time, turned into a Coast Guard station later on. But it wasn't in no hurry because you couldn't do anything to it anyway. But they know that they've been watching us since the beginning of time. And they know they lie to us the same way they lie and they tell you that the earth is round. The earth is flat. I believe Nina. Okay, Nina. I guess I could. Frank, brother Frank. I mean, these guys are talking about. But I think she has a boyfriend, though. No. But brother Frank, if she ever breaks up with her boyfriend and she wants to meet a nice guy, Now, of course, we're only kidding. Don't get upset. But you never know. Daisy's 28. She's 28. Happy birthday, Nina. From Michael Fazio in the Philippines, baby. Happy birthday. And you never know. I went out with a girl, Diane not McCormick. Her father owned the adult plumbing. We went out on a date as friends. We were getting married 3 months later. We didn't get married, but we wanted to get married. And it happened. Just we looked at each other in the eye to eye, and lady in a red dress song was on, and she had a red thread on her blouse, and I saw it, and I started singing "Lady with a Red Thread On," and that was it. We were going to be husband and wife 3 months later, but it didn't happen though. But so, and that was, she was, I guess that was 1981, so I was 25, 26. You know, could happen, Brother Frank. My brother from another mother. If it does, though, that would be a trip. Me and you palling around on a bunker boat. I teach you how to do some snorkeling. I teach you how to do a little bit of scuba. Put some weights on you, and give you. I could teach you scuba. It'd be no problem. I'm pretty good at scuba diving. And I'll make sure that you're weighted properly so you could go neutral buoyant or negative buoyant. I won't put too much weight on you, I promise. Not like Mr. Obama. Oh, Tim, I used to send him down first. Just kidding, Brother Frank. So, here, put this on. Here, take another. Have another. Don't worry. You'll be the first one to the bottom. You win. So, Nina. So, thanks, Scott. She seems like an intelligent, classy, and extremely beautiful young lady. She was. She's really pretty. She's really pretty. God. She really is. Tony. New side, 156th and 86th. That's where the older houses were. That's where that was almost by the corner of the Belt Parkway back there. 156 was right up 1 block away was where we used to get on the bicycle path and go into the dump right by your house. I remember that. 156th and 86th. Yeah, that would have been 2 more blocks. Would have been 84th Street, and where there was a gate. Remember the gate there to go on to the Belt Parkway? You could get on the bicycle path, or you could go to the dump. That's where we went with the mini bikes, to go through that gate and then up into the dump to play in the garbage dump on the mini bikes and the motorcycles. Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember anybody that Gotti's 4th of July party on the 101st at the Bergen Beach Club. Yeah, I remember. Well, and remember, before the 4th of July party, he used to take over the West Field in Charles Park, and they would back a whole truck up to the field with fireworks in it, and 10 or 12 guys would just go back and forth to the truck all for an hour and a half or 2 hours and shoot fireworks off. John used to buy $10,000 worth of fireworks minimum, and just set it all off at the park, and then everybody would go back to 101st Avenue and party like it was 1999. I remember that. And it was all the food, the foods, all the food you could eat, anything, beers, wine, everything was free. He threw some serious parties. He did throw some serious parties. But the fireworks, my apartment was about 200 feet from the west baseball field. And so I only had to walk 200 feet. And then everybody would go back to the club after that. I remember that. Yes. Not the Bergen Beach. Used to be able to go, boy, being gone for 35, 40 years, that's a long time. Hold on a second. What was the name of that club? Oh, man. The Bergen Beach. I said Bergen Beach. It's the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club. Bergen Beach. Bergen Hunt and Fish Club. I remember getting my hunting license there when I was a child. My uncle, all my uncles were avid hunters, but since I was like 12 years old, since I could get a hunting license, I would go with them and I'd get a license there, and then they would get they'd be able to get one more buck, I think, or an extra doe, something like that. Yeah, the Hunt and Fish Club. That's when it was a Hunt and Fish Club, when we were kids. I remember that place. Jeez. That was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago. Jeez, that's amazing. That is amazing. 101st Avenue. Wow. I haven't thought about 101st Avenue in a really long time. Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the memories. That's funny as all get out. I took a girl, says Flying Circus. Flying Circus is in the house. To the outdoor once. Halfway through the movie, she turned into her brother. What the heck? She turned into her brother. Jack's half gay too, you know. Maybe y'all can play catch. You'd be on the hook for Father's Day again. Dad. Dad. That would be funny. Yeah, the Cape Cod houses. That's right. Behind St. Helens. Right. Yeah, St. Helens was just a few blocks away. Yes, thank you, Tony. Yeah, you know what, Tony? You know what I used to do for Christmas? I used to go, not all every year, but for Christmas, sometimes I would go to St. Helens. John went to St. Helens. John, and he would sit on like the second or the third row back. And I remember as a kid going there to see what he was like famous. Even then he was famous. And we would go there and look at him and go, oh, that's John, and he was, I also remember he was big into gambling when we had the church bazaar with the gambling games, the crap tables and stuff like that. And I remember the priests kissing his hand when he came with the crew. Now, I'm not anywhere near his age, but I knew who he was. And his son really did live in the apartment downstairs from me for 3 years. They used it as a safe house in Howard Beach. So I kind of would see him walking up and down the stairs occasionally. We knew who each other were. He knew my dad. He liked my dad because my dad was a tugboat captain. He liked my dad a lot. We used to eat at the Chelsea house. We'd be sitting down having dinner at the Chelsea house, my dad, my brother, mother, and father, and I. And he would call my dad over to come over and sit down and have an espresso with him at the end of the night. Not us, not the family, but my dad. He liked my dad. Captain Tom, he used to call him. Captain Tommy. Yeah, that was fun. And my brother was a chef, a line chef, no, a sous chef in the Chelsea house for about 11 years with Jimmy. Remember Big Jimmy? Jimmy Arnoon? Tony? He worked at the Chelsea house also. Well, he was always in there. He was something in there. But my brother worked with Jimmy for years. Jimmy Arnoon. Dennis Adam. Hey, Dennis. Thanks for stopping by. Dennis. Yeah, my brother worked with Jimmy. My brother worked as a prep chef and a sous chef at the Chelsea house. I think he worked there 11 years. He was a good cook, my brother. And he got to see all those people he worked on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night because he had a regular job. But he liked working there because he liked working there. It was a nice place to work. He made a lot of money there, too. LOL. Yeah, he liked my dad. Tugboat captain is a great career. No one hates a tugboat captain. It's like being a fireman. Yeah, in fact, they liked my dad so much. Well, they liked him a lot. My dad drank there with my Uncle Jay. My Uncle Jay and my dad would go there to drink also. But they had, that was one hell of a steakhouse. Tony would confirm this, who stayed there. The whole of the Gambino crime family stayed there. They would take a table for the whole night. Aviation with my brother. Your friend Richie went to aviation. Yeah, my brother. Yeah, Tony says it's very true. The whole crew stayed there. But like people say, wow, you're lying. You never met John Gotti. Well, it was no big deal to meet John Gotti because he lived. Well, first of all, he lived at 162 something, 91st Street, I think it was, and I lived at 162 something on 99th Street. So we lived like across the water, but we lived on the same block. But there used to be a bridge going over the water until I fixed that little problem. But Tony will remember the bridge. And so to meet John Gotti, he would be everywhere. He went to all the big parties. When we were children, everybody's father was in the mafia. Not mine, but hundreds of people. Sally Salerno, little Bobby from the Surfside. What was the other guy's name? Charles Caniglia, John Caniglia. They all hung out there. They were all real names. One Arm Ronnie. And they all stayed there. And it wasn't like a big deal to meet those people because that's where they hung out in the neighborhood. And then John's son literally had the apartment downstairs from my house for 3 years. They used it as a... And I'll tell you exactly when that was, too. When Rambo came out that year, he took the house downstairs from me. I remember that because... Well, I won't tell you why, but I remember that because... Then we went and played Rambo at Forest Park. And I can't tell you the rest of the story, but it was funny. It was like That was funny because everybody would come to the house, and I'd be walking up the stairs, and there'd be all these bent noses on the balcony below me, and that was funny growing up like that. It was really funny. That's true though. That all those stories. People say, "Ah, you're a liar." No, I'm not a liar. You didn't have to be special to meet these people. The bridge collapsed. No, the bridge did not collapse. The bridge was taken down, Tony. Taken down. The bridge was disassembled, so people couldn't walk over the bridge that didn't belong in the community. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Kevin Luff, you remember Kevin Luff used to live not so far from you. Kevin Luff went to aviation. He was before me. Giga, Johnny Miles, Lurch, Paulie. I forgot Paulie's last name. And yeah, I remember I could, if I ever wanted to talk to you on the phone, and we ever talked on the phone, you know, Tony, you know what I have? Let me tell you how I know how the bridge, I actually experienced the bridge collapsing. But I have the sign from the bridge, the do not, the walk sign. I have the sign that used to go over the walk path on the Howard Beach side of the bridge. There was like a 3-foot walkway. I have the sign. It's in one of my containers in my yard in the back. You enjoy watching the old videos. I'm going to start posting all of those videos again. All of them. I've been really busy. I've been doing a lot of other stuff. I've not been off YouTube. I had an issue where I had to go to the hospital and get a special antibiotic pumped into me. And then, but I have the sign, the walk bridge sign. What does it? Pedestrian. It says pedestrians use footwalk, and the sign is about 4.5 inches thick, about this wide, 4.5 inches thick, and about 32 inches long. And I took it. I think I took it off the bridge before the bridge fell down, knowing that the bridge wasn't going to be there just but a few more hours at the time. So Kevin Luff, if you knew Kevin Luff, he was very well known. Tommy Tornabenny, the guy with the motorcycle, he lived closer to the bird sanctuary, but everybody knew him. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I remember a lot of that stuff. I don't normally think about that stuff because now we're going back 55 years thinking about Tornabenny. I forgot his first name. Joey Tornabenny. He had the first 500 Honda, and then he had the first 750 Suzuki. Then he had the first 1,000 Suzuki. Bill Sharkey had a 750 Suzuki. Then he bought the 1,000 Kawasaki. Yeah, all those people. John Sears. Billy sold me a wine press. I have that out in my container. That was in 1972 or 73 when him and Lana bought a house. I don't know who you know, but if you know Lana got divorced from Billy years later. But Billy and I were good friends, very good friends, and we grew up as children. We played handball together every day. We played handball all summer long. Bill Sharkey, Joe Fabio, myself, Robert Ferrello, and Dickie, I forgot his last name, Dickie DeTora. It was like the five of us. And Patty forgot. And there's 5 or 6 of us could take the handball court all day, both sides of the court. We'd never lose. One of us would always be on the court. We'd play all day handball. We'd wear out a Pensy Pinky before lunch and then one before dinner. Yes, I have the sign on top of my shelf in my old room, on the top of the metal shelf. Yes. No, the bridge got hit with a hacksaw. Actually, the bridge was an easy job. So, yeah, that sign, I have that sign. I never painted over it. The paint is now so dry that the paint is like orange peel, but it's still a beautiful sign. It's a beautiful thing. I think I painted one side of it. I'm not sure, but I left one side natural, the original. Hope it didn't get termites in it. Johnny Carroll. Okay, now we have mutual ground there. The best pinstriper in the world. There was only one other guy that could pinstripe better than John. Do you remember? Did I know John Carroll? Johnny lived one block and 4 houses away from me on 95th Street at 163, I would say 163, 95th Street. Johnny and I have been friends since I was 17 years old. Johnny pinstriped my cars, my cars and my truck. He was the one who pinstriped and painted my truck. I practically lived with him and Linda, his wife, for dozens and dozens of days in the wintertime. We would get together in the morning at his house and we'd build something. He had a beautiful shop in his basement. We was always building something. And I remember when he got the notice to go pinstripe the pyramids in Giza, because he was so good with mixing paint. He was one of the best painters in the world. And when it came to mixing paint, oil-based paint, in the whole world, he was one of the best painters of all of the flat earth. He actually got commissioned. He was gone for months to redo the hieroglyphics inside and around the Great Pyramid of Giza. My friend John Carroll got tons of money from that, and he couldn't put a line on a. He had Rolls Royces. He had a shop, a pinstripe shop. He had Rolls Royces coming in. He wouldn't even start to pinstripe anything till he drank a half a bottle of booze. Tony will confirm that. He would. His hands used to shake like this. He'd drink a half a bottle of booze, and then he'd start pinstriping. He never made a mistake. I mean, he would just walk with the brush on flat, level ground from one end of the car to the other, like where the old cars they weren't round, they had like a flare on them, and he would just walk, and it would look like a machine did it. And he showed me how to mix paint. Wow, I never knew that. Amazing. Yes, it's true. Tony knows. He was one of the best in the world. I mean, they commissioned him to do the pyramids, and because he had the ability to mix paint. And the key to mixing paint, you guys could look this up. The key to mixing paint for the pinstripe on the car was fish eye oil. But you had to know how much. And when you mix fish eye oil in with the quality of paint that he did, he would clean the glass with soap and water and then acetone, and he would do your windows, pinstriping on your windows or your car. When it dried, he'd pinstripe a clear gloss over it wait a couple of weeks, you couldn't scratch it off with your finger. The paint became bonded with the base paint because he cleaned everything with acetone. He was the best, Johnny Caro. Caro's pinstriping. He had a shop on on Rockaway Boulevard. I think it was 124th Street. Could have been 119th Street. It was around now on Rockaway Boulevard. He didn't need tape for guide, right? His hands were like machines to do. He did your '77 Thunderbird, yeah, and the Thunderbird, nice car, nice. That was a classic vehicle. Yeah, he did not need tape. Other guys would use tape, put the stripe on, get the tape right, put the stripe on, pull the tape off. No, he just by hand, and his fingers stayed like this. And then he dipped the brush, and then lay it back into the thing. And if there was a small little drip, he'd go like this with his finger on his shirt and keep going. He had people waiting months to do a Rolls Royces, Jaguars, boats would come in now. He would work sometimes. he had the ability. He had the ability to work for 2 or 3 days without stopping. He was an amazing man. Oh, God. I remember him and I were building. Tony knows I'm telling you the truth, too. Thanks, Tony. This is fun. This is a lot of fun. He had a shop in his basement. We know the reason. Oh, he was an amazing man, John Caro. He could drink. He did not start pinstriping a car till he drank a half a bottle of booze. Wouldn't pick up a brush. His hands would be like that. And a nice guy too. And he was only about 5'4", 5'5". He wasn't much. He was about the same height as me, maybe an inch or so shorter. And we were going to build an airfoil boat, him and I. We got the plans, and this is going back a long time. And Linda, his wife Linda, she had a sister. The sister was a lot of fun to be with, but she's a crazy girl, really crazy, Linda. And I dated her for years, but John, we were going to build the boat. We bought the plans. We started buying the aircraft plywood. And then him and Linda, I don't know what happened. They had a falling out. And Johnny left the house. And that was in the mid-90s, I guess, early 90s. And then we lost touch. He used to live at the pinstriping shop. But it wasn't the same because I used to stay with him in his house and the pinstriping place, but I was friends with Linda and friends with him, so I had to choose one or the other. And Linda was a sweet lady. She had a son named John Jr. And I lost track of him, and then every once in a while I'd stop and say hello to him. But as a young man, up until 1990, I guess I was 35. Yeah, maybe until I was about 37 years old, we were really, really close. But then he got mixed up with his divorce. He never was the same after that. He was all messed up in the head, and that was it. But he was the famous pin. There was another guy who he said was better than him. I don't remember the other guy's name. And the other guy had a big pinstriping shop too. He said, I'm not the best, Mike. You know, he would always give the other guy credit for being better, but no one believed it. Debbie DeFranco and Mig DeLuca. I don't remember those people, but if we're going to talk women, let's talk. Yeah, I'm from the old side, Tony. I'm from 99th Street and the New Bridge. So if they were on the new side, no, I wouldn't know them. I would only know a very few women from the new side. Hey, how about I knew? Okay, this girl. Do you remember Banky and Tommy and Frankie? Do you remember Banky? I knew Kathy, his daughter Kathy. Kathy and Banky's daughter. Maybe Von Dutch. I don't know. Von Dutch might have been a motorcycle guy. I don't think so. You knew Banky, right? But Banky, I built, still alive. He's living out in Long Island now. Yeah. I built Tommy. Remember? All right, so Banky had a son, Tommy and Frankie. We're not gonna talk about their last name. I built their discotheque. Remember, he was partners with Little Ralphie. That Little Ralphie and Nikki's son Ralphie, and they had that terrible accident on Cross Bay Boulevard. But Kathy and I grew up together, and then Kathy. Do you remember who Kathy married? Somebody from East New York. Okay, so yeah, but I was friends with Kathy because I built Tommy's club, the Scandals on Avenue N and Flatbush Avenue. I built all the bar, all the custom carpentry. I did all the sheetrock. I built all the vertical stanchions. Scandals. Yeah, Scandals. I built the whole thing. I was there for 5 months. I did all the Formica work on the bar, the tabletops. I built all the shelves for the glasses. And then Banky took me in like a son into the family. And he had me do his house. And then I ended up doing Johnny Caniglia's whole house. Johnny and Charles Caniglia. And I did their whole house. And then I did somebody else's house. And then somebody else's house. But Banky made me... He wanted me to teach the youngest son, Frankie, something. And so I was teamed up with Frankie. Aggie and Donna. Are you talking about Aunt Aggie that went out with Mike, who owned the restaurant down by 165th Avenue and Cross Bay Boulevard? That's the only Aggie I know. She used to be friends with Rosemary Ognabine. Mike, I forgot his name, big tall guy. His father owned the restaurant. Angie. No, I don't remember anybody named Angie. No. But, no, I didn't, like I said, I didn't know, I knew, not a lot of women from the new side, even not a lot of men from the new side. Down in the hole, I had an office in the hole. I had, that was where Kathy's husband had houses down there. My warehouse, I had a warehouse. I used to store a crane, and I had a warehouse to store equipment down there. And there was a lot of cars back there, a lot of cars. There was a gun shop back there that people would go to get their guns repaired. Behind the liquor store, right there, down right behind the liquor store in the hole was where the house was that I didn't rent the house, I just rented the yard. And I had a crane that no one was allowed to, you couldn't put the crane on the street. This had to be my first crane I bought in 1984. I think I bought my first crane in 1984, 85. and it was a land crane on rubber, and I would store it in the hole next to the shop. It was more in the hole, but I didn't know them. I didn't know any of the girls from down there. No, did not. Didn't know anybody down there. I only knew the guy who owned the house. And he didn't even charge me rent for that, because I made it look like it was a construction site, and he was working on cars in the garage all the time. Very much, he was an expert at cars, expert in cars. Say that. But that whole area back there, did you know Tommy Palladino? From Pine Street, Tommy Palladino Trucking. Okay, so Tommy and I were good friends also. Tommy and I lived on the same block, on this right across the street from one another. He lived 3 doors up. I lived there for 2.5 years, and he was a big car collector too. Big. They turned the whole into a thriving business. I remember, like, he had a spray shop right around the corner from Pine Street. He had a spray shop, and his color was blue. The color of his equipment was blue. And he'd bring in a D8 bulldozer, a brand new yellow D8 bulldozer, and spray it blue and put Palladino Construction on the side of it. And, or a dump truck. Brand new dump trucks, brand new Mack dump truck. It come in red and black and white and orange or whatever color came in, and 3 days later it would go out blue, Palladino Construction Company. It was a trip. It was nice talking to you too, Tony. Maybe, I guess you're getting ready to go to sleep. Thanks for the memories. Yeah. Tommy Palladino. I loved Tommy. Tommy loved me too. He would give me a container. Everybody else was charging $400 for a container. He'd give it to me for $200, because he would run it over with a D8 and turn it into 3 cubic yards of material. He would turn a whole top floor of a house that filled up a 20-yard dumpster. He would turn it into 8 inches of rubble in the container. So he charged me half price for a long time. He did the right thing by me. Not that Tommy, Frank. Not that Tommy, Scott. No, that was Tommy there was a Tommy that I grew up with that made love to another man named Eddie. And Scott and I always laugh about that, because later on I found out that him and Eddie were lovers, and we were friends since we were like 6, 7 years old. No, not that Tommy, a different Tommy. Yeah, that was funny. So, yeah, Tony, if you're getting ready to go to sleep, it was good talking to you, too. I wonder who you are. I mean, I know that we know the same people, but that's funny. The old days. And there's nothing that, I mean, that we're talking about 1970, 87, 97, 107, 107. That's 45 years, 46 years ago, some of that stuff went on. The bridge went down in 1972, so that was 50 years ago. Went down at about 8 o'clock at night. Went down like a rock. So, I don't know. That was a good story time with the Foz, yeah? I don't have any women's stories, though. Not like my brother Frankie B. Boy, he got some good women's stories, but I don't have any of those. I gotta unblock him. Been blocked so I forgot to unblock. Sorry, brother. I love you, man. So let's see. Do I have anybody still here with us? How many people? Left in 77. I lived on Pine Street in 77. That's how I met Palladino. And so you were in Subic Bay for 4 years, and my first Filipino girlfriend, I met her in San Diego. She was from Subic Bay, Chrissy Oropeza. She owns Ora pays a lumpia, biggest lumpia company in the entire world. Now, today, it's the biggest lumpia company in the world. Her father started that. So Subic Bay, they were from Subic Bay, the whole family, but they lived in California. I remember that was a nice family that I wasn't ready to get married, and her father wanted her to marry a lawyer or a doctor, so that left me out in the cold. But yeah, I never went to Subic Bay, but I've heard about it. Well, thanks for sharing that, Subic Bay. That must have been a crazy place back then. I remember stories about Subic Bay from her brother Joel. What went on back there at that time? So, yeah, that was that I looked up. Scott and I looked up the USS Midway. The Midway, the Battle of Midway is what I'm thinking about. That's pretty cool. What was your job on the ship? What was your, not your rank, but what was your job? Because some jobs are better than others. I don't know much about the service. I was not in the service. But what was your job? People say, oh, you were only this, you were only that. Yeah, and you only got to see the world for free on the government's time. That's a pretty cool job. You only got to see places that you'll never get to see for the rest of your life, and somebody paid you to go there. I think that's pretty cool, actually. But when I got drafted, the flight deck as a brown shirt. I wouldn't know what a brown shirt is, but working on the flight deck was a freaking great job, because a lot of those men that were on an aircraft carrier never got to see daylight except on their certain days. On the flight deck, but is the brown shirt the people that pick up FOD? I don't know. That's a cool job. Actually, I could have went into the Air Force. If they didn't cancel the draft, I had one more week to decide which branch of the service I would have went in. I would have chose the Air Force. I would not have been going to Vietnam, but I didn't want to go in the service anyway. It wasn't something I wanted to do. And because, well, I mean, so many of my friends died in Vietnam that I grew up with, so the service was a turnoff to me. But if I would have had to go in, I would have went into the Air Force. I don't know what job I would have got, but I would have probably went in as a jet mechanic. I was already an A&P when I graduated high school. So that was a plus. I could have gotten a job as a jet mechanic in any Air Force base anywhere in the world. But I don't know that I would have got on an aircraft carrier. It would have been cool, but you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, that's a aircraft carrier on the flight deck. I watched a lot of movies about videos on YouTube, aircraft carrier landings, carrier takeoffs with the new vertical takeoff vertical takeoff aircraft, VTAs, I think they call it. I watch a lot of that stuff thinking that'd be pretty cool to do. It's a little late for me now, though. And I'd probably have to lose 100 pounds. But that would have been a cool job. Yeah, that's working on an aircraft carrier. Wow. Yeah, you think about all the stuff that you could have did. The alpha male. I did. I was the first round. When they had the lotto, the last lotto that was ever made. Okay, so fuel, hydraulics, tires, you checked all that stuff when it came in. And, okay, I don't know a lot about that. Only what I see in the movies and what I've watched YouTube video. I watched a lot of videos on that. I think that is just so cool. I think that is so cool that we have a ship with 5,000 people on it and nuclear generators. I mean, nuclear reactors. I just get a kick out of that. I don't watch much stuff when it comes to the service, but aircraft carrier stuff, if it pops up on my feed, I watch that. Because I'm a jet mechanic, and I love watching when they come in and they turn around and they go down into the elevator and the hydraulics to lift the planes up and down. I think that's really interesting stuff. I know it's really interesting stuff. Who designs all of that stuff that it works. It's an amazing thing. That's a pretty cool job. That is really nice. Thanks for sharing that with us. Fazio would be first round in the alpha male draft. I got drafted. I remember I was sitting next to Donnie DeVito. Joey DeVito later became a doctor. We were in his house. And the lotto for the draft, we had our draft cards on our lap, and his number and my number were the first 1,000 people to get drafted in the United States that night. The first number out of the lotto bucket, we were the first. So we had to decide. I waited till the last minute, and then Nixon. I think it was Nixon squashed the draft. I didn't have to go into the service. I was 1 week away from that. I would have went in. I didn't have a problem going in at all. I didn't want to go to Vietnam, but I wouldn't have went there because I was a jet mechanic. Just didn't want to be in the service. Tony did something called plane captain. The crew, his flight crew, had one plane assigned to them, and they made sure it was ready for flight. Fuel, hydraulics, windshield cleaned. Now in a museum. Okay. That's cool. It's an amazing thing, actually. I never been on a, well, I think when the Enterprise was in New York City back in, 1990, I was on that. Didn't go inside it, just on the flight deck. And I got to see it. I don't remember it because I only was on there for a couple hours. But I did visit the battleship Texas, which is now out of the water. And I got to go in the battleship Texas pretty much for the tour, a couple of 2 or 3 hour tour. I had never been in a warship before. I thought it's an amazing thing. The technology, the amount of wiring and harnessing, all braided stainless steel or copper or brass. And yeah, I just found that so interesting because as a mechanic, I look at stuff from the way it's manufactured, and I have war quality switches in one of my containers. It's going to be from my antiques that I'm going to put in the hotel, and like a box, a switch box might be that big and weigh 3 pounds with a lever on it, and the lever and the box is solid brass, and I never took it apart. And then the coaxial cable that comes out of the box is bronze. I mean, you're talking about something that would cost $150 to make that box now. Maybe more. I don't know. And I have some lamps off of a battleship also. Yeah, right. They walk the deck. I remember watching that in a movie. The foreign object debris, I think that's called, foreign object debris. And when I went to school to be a jet mechanic, all my teachers were ex-military. All. Every shop teacher that we had was either in the Air Force, Army, Marines, in aviation industry, in those services. So we heard many war stories from Korea and World War II. I don't remember most of that stuff, but it was fun to listen to. I mean, it was a good school to go to. I graduated with an A&P jet mechanics license, which was worth $50,000 at the time. If you had to go to the Academy of Aeronautics in Flushing, I think it was $20-something thousand a year. Yes. Did I get a new bottle of distilled water? No. These bottles, I picked up. These bottles are some called Iron Supply Drink. If I see a square bottle like this in the trash or in a recycle bin, I grab it because it holds more water than a glass bottle. It's square, and I can fit more of them in the refrigerator. I clean them out, and then I put water in them, distilled water in them. I have big bottles. I have many big bottles, but no, this is distilled water, but I didn't buy it. I found it in the trash. That'll give them something to talk about. Yeah, you know, you guys, it's a nice bottle. I'll sell it to you. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to waive. I'm going to waive the service. I'm bad. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, I'll give them something to talk about. So I talked to Daisy. It was her birthday this week, and she had a great birthday party. I'm not going to see her we're not going to see each other for a little while. She went to her, well, she always goes to her. Always I sent her away for 6 or 7 weeks to her family for Christmas and New Year's and her birthday. And then the rest of the year she stayed here. But she's applying for some fancy jobs. So she may or may not come back soon. She might not come back for a little while. She might come back in 3 days. I don't know. It depends on how her applications work out. But Daisy's doing well, for anybody that wants to know. Her 28th birthday was a few days ago. And she had a wonderful birthday party with her friends and her family and Christmas. And she got to spend it with her sisters who all have babies. She keeps looking at me. That, you know. So she wants a baby. So we'll see about that. LOL, says Tony. Yeah, I'm a pretty honest person. You ask me a question. Okay, Tony. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thanks for the conversation. I always say that to my friends, but that was great, going down memory lane with somebody that knows the beach. Thank you very much. God bless, Tony. And Happy New Year to you and yours, and best wishes, and stop by anytime, my friend. Thank you. Tony from the beach, 86th and 156th Avenue. 84th and 156th Avenue. Right by St. Helens Church. Right by the Bell Parkway, entrance to the Bell Parkway. Very nice, Tony. Thank you. Bye-bye for now. So with that, I think we're into 3 hours, and I think I'm going to... Scott, I could ask you a question. Will you be up? I'll give you a call back in a few minutes. Or do you want to go to sleep? It's 2 o'clock in the morning, Scott. It's your bedtime. I'll understand, believe me. And I was wondering where the spoon went. The spoon fell on the floor. Bang a pot, make a lot. For a bit, sure. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. That was a little bit of little story time with Michael Fazio. You guys, growing up in New York, let me just, to sum it up, growing up in New York, in the beach, Howard Beach, where I grew up, how I grew up with, who I grew up with, was a really interesting place to grow up. No, all kidding aside. Many very, very, very successful people came from. A lot of firemen that died in 9/11, a lot of police that died in 9/11, a lot of famous people. From Arlo Guthrie didn't live 1,000 feet away from me. And Arlo Guthrie, the Dead, the Grateful Dead, I dated their sister, one of their sisters. Boo-hoo. Thank you. I'm ready to wrap it up. Boo-hoo. Nothing personal, but I've been talking for 3 hours and 11 minutes. But I dated the sister of one of the Grateful Dead. I met Arlo Guthrie many times. Hung out with Vitas Gerulaitis. Was Alice's Restaurant in the Beach? No, he wrote the song Alice's Restaurant, but no, it was upstate New York, somewhere upstate New York. And it was someplace, it was on a Thanksgiving upstate New York where they dumped garbage into a pit. Very famous song, but I knew him, I would see him around. Was no big deal. We grew up together. He's older, but we all grew up together. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to talk to my friend Scott Del Fuego. Uncle Frank, Dad, Brother Frank, say hello to Gilda. Tell her I said she does a beautiful job cleaning the house. Say hello to Nisa and her boyfriend, because she has a boyfriend. And tell her I'm sorry that she has a boyfriend, but I can't date a woman that's already been spoken for. I love you. I love you, man. I'll talk with you later. You guys have a nice day. And we'll talk one day, Brother Frank. I got to unblock you. I think I have your email address from when you communicated once with one of my neighbors. If that's the same email address, I'll get with that. I'll look for that. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye for now from Michael Fazio and Daisy May in the Philippines. And, of course, Amping Permi, which means take care always, from the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye for now. And thanks for the comments. Thanks for the converse. Thanks for the conversation. Thanks for conversating with me. If that's not abusing the English language. Bye-bye. Bye-bye for now. Amping.